Hey everybody, I'm Becky Adams. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel today. Today I have a 12 by 12 layout process video for you using the Time to Travel collection from Blvd. As always, I will link the products that I'm using in this video in the description box below so that you can play along with me and recreate this layout. So as I start out a lot of my videos, I am cutting out the middle of this pattern paper. Sometimes I refer to that as gutting the pattern paper, but that means that I'm just cutting out the center of the back, like the base layer of the layout, so that I can save it and use it on another project. In this case, I love both sides of that pattern paper, and I didn't get I don't have this entire collection. I just bought a few of my favorite pieces. So I want to be able to use all of the bits and pieces, especially of such a pretty pattern paper. So I'm taking some strong double-sided tape and just put that along the inside of that base pattern paper. And then I am placing the white cardstock that I have cut down to 11.5 by 11.5 right in the middle. And I'm making sure that those corners where I removed the backing of the adhesive are pushed down really well. And then I just remove the rest of the backing. And that just keeps it so I don't have all of the adhesive exposed in case I put something down crooked. It's a lot easier to adjust it if I do it that way. So the next step on this project is I cut a bunch of strips of pattern paper from the Time to Travel collection, and I just wanted the middle section of this layout to be strips of brightly colored pattern paper. So I get kind of everything laid out. And here's where I make my fatal error on this project. I cut off a full inch of each of these strips when I should have cut off just a half an inch. So as it turns out, my strips are not going to go clear across that white cardstock. They're only going to go, there's going to be a 1/4 of an inch gap on either side of it. At the end of the day, it's really not that big of a problem, and I don't think that really it even matters that much. I did think initially that it was just the yellow strip that I cut incorrectly, and so I recut it, but then I realized it was all of the strips, and so I was a little bit frustrated, and I turned my camera off for just a minute to decide how I wanted to fix the problem. I thought about recutting all of the strips, but I decided that ultimately it didn't matter and that I didn't want to cut more pattern paper. So I adhere them just with a 1/4 of an inch on either side of the strips. So really, I don't think unless you're watching this video, you would ever know that there was a problem. So while I'm adhering these strips, I wanted to tell you that I have a travel-themed scrapbooking class available over on the Scrapbook and Cards Today website called Travel Toolkit. I will make sure and leave a link to that in the description box. I would love to have you join me for this class. We talk about all things travel and vacation scrapbooking. So whether you have a vacation coming up this summer, you will definitely want to take this class because we talk about getting organized and, the photos that you want to take. But if you've already been on a trip, then we kind of work backwards and organize things after you've gotten home and go through several different ideas with lots of tips and tricks for scrapbooking all of your travel photos. So as I mentioned, I will leave a link for that class in the description box. I would love to have you join me over there. This is my first class with scrapbooking cards today, and it's going to be so much fun, and I would love to have you, my YouTube friends, join me over there. So let me know in the description, or excuse me, in the comments below if you're going to join me, and if you have photos from previous travels or travels that you're going to take that you need to scrapbook. Okay, so back to the layout. This layout is a little bit unique in that the actual title to the layout is not visible from, like, unless you lift the flap. So before we talk about all of that and start adhering the photos, I wanted to add one more strip along the middle of my page, and that's just a border sticker that is a lighter blue scalloped that is on the 12 by 12 sticker sheet from the Time to Travel collection. So I have this 4 by 6 photo that I had already created a flap prior to turning my camera on, because I had another photo that I wanted to use as well. And then I also put my journaling and my title on that piece of 4 by 6 pattern paper. So I'm just deciding on how I want the placement of this photo, the placement of the photo, and then of the subtitle, which is actually travel. And I decided that I really wanted to make sure this photo didn't go anywhere because it is so heavy with 2 photos and the title and the journaling. So I'm using 1-inch double-sided tape from Scrapbook.com to make sure that that stays in place. So as I mentioned, the subtitle is travel, and I'm just kind of putting a few bits and pieces together to make sure that it everything fits where I want it to before I start adhering things down. This word travel is from the 12 by 12 chipboard sheet. I just peeled off the adhesive backing so that I could add my own liquid adhesive. I always add my own adhesive to chipboard elements because I found just over the years the adhesive doesn't hold up, and I find all of my chipboard pieces just at the bottom of my page protectors. So I just, as a rule now, I just always add my own adhesive to chipboard. So there's this cute die cut that is like a map of the United States, and it's scored so it looks like it's folded. And I just folded that up and kind of made the score lines a little more visible, I guess. And then adhered that map with some pop dots. Then I also adhered, that suitcase and globe die cut. I think my favorite thing though is those keys that I kind of looped off the side of the T on the word travel. I think it's so cute. Okay, so now that I have the beginnings of an embellishment cluster at the bottom of the layout, I wanted to add an embellishment cluster above the layout. And if you have watched any of my videos, you have probably seen me use a tag on my projects. Tags are one of my favorite embellishments. I reach for them all the time, whether they are like a pre-made die cut like these ones, or whether I use a die. I love using tags. So I'm just trimming off that orange tag a little bit. It was a little too tall for what I wanted. On this green tag, I'm trimming off most of the tag. And then I will save the bottom portion of that tag for another project. And then on each tag, I am looping through just some white crochet thread. After I got the tags kind of laid out, I realized that that orange tag needed to be a little bit shorter. And so I trimmed that off. And then on the top of all of these tags, I used a little bit of foam adhesive, a couple of adhesive foam dots. And then the bottom of the tag is adhered right to the background, either using liquid adhesive or tape runner. So now I have these 3 tags here up at the top and 3 sets of crochet thread just kind of hanging there. I can do a couple of things, but what I ultimately decided on was to just loop that crochet thread around the back of the layout so that, and adhere it with, I'm using double-sided tape here that I just won't remove the backing. So it kind of looks like there are those 3 tags are just hanging from the top of the page. So that's just kind of a fun alternative to bows. So my tape runner is running a little low here, so it's not working as well as it should, but I'll get that fixed here in just a minute. And then I had just this road sign die cut that I thought would be perfect next to the title under that flap. And then I'm just using a couple of really cute enamel hearts. So I lost just a little bit of footage here where I added just a few bits and pieces to each of the embellishment clusters. There are some enamel hearts and a couple of more die cuts that you can see. The details for all of that are in the detail shots coming up here. So last but not least, I stamped the date using the Paige Evans Splendid date stamp and black ink from scrapbook.com. I just stamped the date there below the subtitle. So thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend with me and for supporting me here on my YouTube channel. Please hop over and check out my travel toolkit class. I would really love to have some of my YouTube friends join me over there. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you again soon.